UFC 287 goes down this weekend, headlined by Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira 2. Here are my quick pick predictions for the full card. Starting with the early prelim opener of Jaqueline Amorim versus Sam Hughes. Jaqueline is undefeated. She has 100% finish rate, 6 submissions, 1 KO. Every one of her finishes coming in the first round. She's taken on Sam Hughes, who's 2-3 in her last 5, or 2-4 in the UFC overall, so not on the best of form. For this one, I'm gonna have to go with Jaqueline. She's undefeated. This is gonna be her UFC debut. She's got all finishes in the first round. I think she's gonna get another one here. I'm gonna go Jaqueline Amorim to get a first round submission over Sam Hughes. Then we have Shayilan Nuerdanbieke versus Steve Garcia. Shayilan is coming off a very controversial win over Darrick Minner that sparked the entire James Krause betting scandal. Steve Garcia is also coming off a KO win. Last time out, he knocked out Chase Hooper in the first round. For this one, I'm gonna go with Shayilan Nuerdanbieke to get the win, but I'm not very confident. Next up, we have Ignacio Bahamondes versus Trey Ogden. Bahamondes is coming off 2 very impressive finish wins. One over Roosevelt Roberts in the 3rd round with about 7 seconds left. He got a highlight reel wheel kick KO, and then he submitted Rong Zhu with a Darce choke. Trey Ogden is coming off a massive upset win over Daniel Zellhuber, who was a very hyped up prospect. Ogden is very dangerous on the ground. He's got 11 submissions on his record. For this one, I'm gonna go with Ignacio Bahamondes. Next up, we have Cynthia Calvillo versus Lupita Godinez. Calvillo is on a 4-fight skid, being finished in 2 of them. So safe to say she's probably out of a job if she picks up another loss here. Lupita is 3-2 in her last 5. But some of the fighters she's lost to are terrible, like Luana Carolina. For this one, I'm gonna have to pick Lupita Godinez to get it done, just because she's on better form, but I'm really not that confident. Then we have Gerald Meerschaert versus Joe Pyfer. This will be Gerald Meerschaert's 51st professional fight. He has 27 submissions on his record. Joe Pyfer is coming off a very impressive first round KO win over Alan Amedovski in his UFC debut. For this one, I'm gonna have to go with Joe Pyfer via KO, but I would not be surprised if Gerald Meerschaert pulls some crazy submission out of his ass, because he tends to do that sometimes when he's a huge underdog. He'll just choke someone out and ruin everyone's fucking bets. Next we have Karl Williams versus Chase Sherman. Williams is stepping in on very short notice here. He only fought like 3 weeks ago against Lucas Brzeski. He's stepping in to replace Chris Barnett, who is now injured. Williams is on a 5-fight win streak, so he's on very good form. Obviously very confident to take this 3 weeks after just having a fight. Chase Sherman is on terrible form. He's 2-5 in the UFC overall. He's lost 5 out of his last 6, so it's safe to say he's likely out of a job if he picks up another loss here. But I'm going to take Karl Williams to get the job done. Next up, we have Michelle Waterson-Gomez versus Luana Pinheiro. Waterson-Gomez is 1-4 in her last 5. She's 37 years old, so she's no spring chicken, and her form is terrible. Things are not looking good. Luana is 5-0 in her last 5. She earned a UFC contract by knocking out Stephanie Frausto in the first round, and she's 2-0 in the UFC. So for this one, I'm gonna have to pick Luana to get it done. Waterson-Gomez is on terrible form. She's getting on now. Luana is on great form. I think she's going to get the job done here. Next up, we have Kelvin Gastelum versus Chris Curtis. Kelvin Gastelum is only 31 years old, but to me, it feels like he's nearing the end of his career. His form has been so bad. He's just never been the same since he had that war with Izzy. It's like it aged him 10, 15 years. He's 1-5 in his last 6, so things are just not working out for him. I've thought for years he needed to move down to welterweight, but I don't think he's going to. I think it's probably too late now. I think we've seen the best of Kelvin Gastelum. Chris Curtis is 4-1 in his last 5. He's been great since he got into the UFC. He's been super active. This will be his 6th fight in just under 2 years. I can't honestly pick Kelvin Gastelum with the form he's been on. He's just looked so bad. I'd love him to have a great performance here, but I'm gonna pick Chris Curtis to get it done here via decision. Next up, we have Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez. Rosas Jr., the youngest fighter to earn a UFC contract. He was just 17 when he earned his contract on Dana White's Contender Series. He made his UFC debut against Jay Perrin and submitted him in the first round with a face crank. Christian Rodriguez is no scrub at all. He had a very close fight with Jonathan Pierce. Last time out, he got a submission win over Joshua Weems. I think this is going to be a very, very close fight, but I am going to pick Raul Rosas Jr. to get the job done. This takes us on to Kevin Holland versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. Kevin Holland is on a 2-fight skid, losing to Hamza and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in what was a Fight of the Year contender. Ponzinibbio is 2-3 in his last 5. He's been in the UFC for 10 years. I think this time Kevin Holland is going to take things a lot more serious. In the Wonderboy fight, when he had Wonderboy on the floor, he was just standing up, inviting him up, wanted to play Wonderboy's game. He's lost 2 in a row. I think he's going to fight more intelligently here. Ponzinibbio, I think we've likely seen the best of him, so I'm going to take Kevin Holland to get the win here over Santiago Ponzinibbio. Next, we have Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez. Rob Font is on a 2-fight skid, losing to Marlon Vera and Jose Aldo, so no shame in either one of those losses. Before this, he was on a 4-fight win streak. He had wins over fighters like Marlon Moraes, Cody Garbrandt, Sergio Pettis. All right, these haven't aged the best, but anyway. Font is 35, so not the youngest bantamweight. Adrian Yanez is 5-0 in the UFC, or 6-0 if you want to count Contender Series. He's got finishes in 5 out of 6 of these, and he's earned a performance bonus for every single UFC fight. How could I not pick Adrian Yanez here? This is a big step up in competition for him, but he's on such amazing form. His boxing is so crisp. I know Rob Font has got good hands himself. I have to pick Adrian Yanez to get the win here over Rob Font. This takes us to our co-main event, Gilbert Burns versus George Masvidal. Gilbert Burns is 3-2 in his last 5. The losses came when he fought Kamaru Usman for the title and when he had that Fight of the Year contender with Hamzat. There's no shame in either one of those losses. Masvidal is on a 3-fight skid with 2 losses to Usman and 1 to Colby. He's 38 years old, so I think we've 100% seen the best of him. 2019 was his year, and since then it's kind of just been downhill inside and outside the octagon. Providing Gilbert Burns can keep himself out of danger, obviously Masvidal is still very, very dangerous with his striking. I'm not sure Gilbert Burns is going to be able to get him down and submit him, but I do think he's going to win a decision. So for Gilbert Burns and George Masvidal, I'm going to say Gilbert Burns gets it done by decision. This takes us to our main event, Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. Izzy is 3-2 in his last 5. The 2 losses were when he fought Jan Blachowicz for the light heavyweight title, and then obviously last time out when Alex TKO'd him in the 5th. Alex is on a 7-fight win streak with finishes in 6 of them. He's only seen a decision once in his MMA career against Bruno Silva. Alex is 3-0 against Adesanya, so does he just have his number? Izzy does very well when he has a height and reach advantage, but when matched up against someone like Alex, who's a little bit bigger than him, he seems to struggle. Alex is so aggressive. He's not afraid to strike with Adesanya, which I think was one of Adesanya's strengths. People were so hesitant to strike with him because they've seen what he can do to people. Alex hasn't got that fear. I think if Izzy wants to win this, he needs to be fearless. He needs to just go out all guns blazing. He nearly finished Alex at the end of the first round. He needs to fight every round like that last 10 seconds. He needs to just go for it because he needs to be perfect for 25 minutes. Alex only needs to be perfect for 1. He just needs to land 1 shot and it will change the course of the entire fight. So for this one, I am gonna pick Alex Pereira to get the job done by a finish. I think he's just got Izzy's number, and I think Pereira like Adesanya, is going to be more aggressive this time out. I don't think Alex is going to try leave it till the 5th. I think maybe a 2nd or 3rd round TKO for Pereira. How do you see the rematch going between Izzy and Alex? Which fight are you looking forward to most? Please comment down below and let me know, and subscribe if you enjoy MMA content. Thank you so much.